up.
The wheel of fate is turning. One, action.
I will never understand why he did this start. I can't think of a single input this was supposed to be. At all. He gets away with it, yes, but there was no point in doing that. I didn't punish it last round properly because of netcode, and that is a thing. But even then, that's an easy punish otherwise. That should have been full combo, but catching that without being able to see is hard. That's still Tager's turn. I held that too long because of that. I didn't get Collider because possibly input failure? Nice dashing your grab. I don't know why he didn't finish that combo. Good decision. Doesn't move a lot. I'm still baffled by that. This is my fault. I should know better. I just put S in the corner. I can't actually put any pressure on her after that burst. That is my fault. And I eat damage because of it. That is just a matter of not being able to see him. I would not have even bothered with that if I could have. Netcode issues. This combo actually works. I think I've shown it off earlier in the set. But if you delay at all on that 5B, you lose enough stun to where 6A just will not connect. And that's such a hard adjust right away. Such a hard immediate adjust that it was hard to go for. I could not have. I don't know why he does just run up at me like that. I still don't agree with these projectiles, but I land on one anyway.
Rebel 2, action.
Perfect example of what I was talking about in the last match. No damage. And my response? I continue jumping. That button should not have even come out. He should not have pushed the thing there. I was already in the middle of a very, very easy to see move, so I shouldn't have gotten a fatal hit here. I should have him in block at best. If nothing else, I shouldn't be getting this combo. And then I drop it by not doing the 2B, because that's a tech trap. Well, a reset, rather. Unfortunate for me. Good. It was good use of my magnetism against me on his part. Again, throwing Spark Bolt too late. This is what he should be doing. I could have punished that Mordred way better as well. Actually would have killed. No, wouldn't have killed. Again, stop meeting me. That would have been full combo if I had been able to see which side he was on. He shouldn't push a button here. Good. In fact, better option is to instant block. You're jumping too much, so I know you're going to jump there. And J2C. The good decision on his part to anti-air. Unfortunately, Tager has two different ways of stopping his momentum. So you have to anti-air reactively against Tager, not predictively, even though he does super jump a lot. Well, I do at least. And he's very high and doesn't have any way of changing his direction. So, at least not without losing the ability to block anti-airs. So you need to be reactively. You wait for him to be just about in your range, if not right there. We're talking like pixel difference instead of predictively doing it, because I can just change my momentum 3 different times and not care.
Rebel 3, action.
Again, stop coming up to meet me. unfortunate, and this is why BB Tech changed that, which I agree with. One of the few things I will praise them. I don't know why he doesn't finish this combo, considering corner. Honestly, better option for him there was to actually get hit top, or get hit while jumping, because he was already probably going to get hit. Me not respecting projectile game, and then getting hit with the lane. That hurts. However, if he overextends it, I do and don't agree with this. I don't agree with it because he had his meter still. So he could have actually done Palamedes through that, I think. This is, again, matchup knowledge I'm not constantly sure of. There are occasions where Palamedes just does beat Spark Bolt, and occasions where it doesn't. And I don't know the difference offhand. But I do agree with this in the fact that even though he has so much health, and the chip damage isn't a problem, unlike I had initially thought, the reason he does this is actually to deal with my magnetism. Even though I have almost no real option, he just took magnetism away from me, almost entirely. So now he has his entire OD timer to deal with it. Typical S. Stop coming up to meet me. I don't agree with that, but I understand it. I did the same thing earlier. And I just get clipped by something. And I should have teched, but missed the tech window because of netcode. Next up, so the second to last match with Tager.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
I still don't agree. I've covered it enough. Getting the hit is okay. I still would have done the pressure to continue. If he had pressured properly, I actually would have been... Oh, wait, no. How far was he? I think he actually might not have been close enough to punish. Or to get the full confirm off that. I made the right call here. I couldn't see what button he was pressing, so I couldn't tell I needed to just hold the EA. He committed to the combo regardless, just in case I didn't EA. I'm not sure why he backs off. I lose my Spark Bolt for that. For, again, disrespecting the projectiles. This is why. I don't agree. Don't do it. Don't jump up to meet me. Not as S. S's anti-air is big enough she doesn't have to. I get punished for it, but the point remains. I don't get punished nearly as badly as I could. That's an omen. I assume I didn't get punished because of netcode. Because the button he used should have punished me, but he didn't do it fast enough, and I just assumed that's netcode.
Action.
That is actually the proper way to pick up off countered air-to-air JB. But again, timing it is hard. Because if you do it too early, she'll be too high. And that's the same with most characters. Their height to the ground actually matters for that confirm. So it's one of those ones you really need visual for. And without it, you're just going to drop it. Speaking of drops. Stop coming up to meet me. Good decision. This is why we don't do double projectile, ladies and gentlemen. We don't do it. We don't do it. Especially not in pressure. In pressure is the worst time to do it. If you are throwing double Bruenor in your pressure, you are asking to be hit. I don't care who by. You are asking to be hit. Tager can do it, Bullet can do it, and if Bullet can do it, oof, that's just a bad feeling. And now he eats 4K because of it. I've been over this. Don't touch it. You have to DP. And I don't care otherwise. In fact, did my 5A actually just go completely through him because of invul? That looked like what happened, but I think I missed something. I feel like he let me have the 5A just to end the round sooner.
Rebel 3. Action.
Yeah, it kind of looks like what could have been the case, because I don't have my burst. So he wants to get me into the next round before I get that back. As soon as possible. Why a grab? Why not move forward and just grab? I'm assuming these are input failures of some sort, but I just honestly don't understand what input. There we go. But I understand the lack of commitment to the button. With the distance, I'm not sure Gawain would have hit without full charge, and I know you can't get full charge Gawain off non-counter. Another overhead I can't see. This should have come sooner, but you know. I dropped this time. That's on the entire league. He's been jumping a lot. I kind of just guessed that yes, he'd be in the air. And the first time I show that tech trap, and because of that, he wasn't expecting it. I assume. Alright, the last of the Tager sets, and then we move on to Hibiki.
The Wheel of Fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
A respectable start, but still one she doesn't have to do. I don't need to harp on it, but this is the best example I can show. 1100 damage versus 2500 with full knockdown, full everything. It's not worth coming up to meet me, even if you do get a counter hit. It's just not worth it for us. Instead, she should be anti-air. I got too aggressive and got hit. I wanted my Spark Bolt. Having the backdash. Taking good use of my own magnetism to deal with me. I go for the JP because I'm not positive. That is one way of dealing with that setup. S doesn't have to do that though. She has a DP that will stop me. But that is one good way of dealing with it. Just delay tech. You're still in RPS, but you're not in OP. You're not in a very brutal RPS situation. Still, the better option is still the backdash. Spark Bolt sometimes. Sometimes you disappoint me. There's not much to say about that, except that I could have picked that up differently if I had been able to see it. I wouldn't have. Believe me, I wouldn't have. I would have gone for the same route, even if I had been able to see. But that's just because muscle memory. More examples of using my own magnetism against me. I'm still taking chip damage from that. Quick overhead, delayed rapid cancel, so nothing happened. I don't even know why it was that late. I am so sad about that. I could have held it long enough, but I just... 2C nowadays actually bothers me. I know why they did it, to give Tager a side swap so that you weren't forced to always side swap with Gadget or with Collider, but this still bothers me. It hits them up so high. So when you're doing ground to air anti-airs, it just hurts. I shouldn't have done hammer. If I had actually just not done hammer, I could have blocked and been fine. And further proven why you don't do double projectile in this matchup. But I didn't know he was that far.
Rebel 2. Action.
I sat down and got punished for it. That's what should be happening. I should be A, forced to be sitting down at round start, and B, I should be getting hit somehow for it. More aerials, I couldn't tell. Again, yet another no better example of why not to meet me in the air than that. You drop your combo and immediately get 2 seed. Or J2 seed. I couldn't have done much off of it, but actually I couldn't have done anything off of it. He doesn't have to respect that. If he has DP or super, he doesn't have to respect that, and that is true. But I still shouldn't be getting fatals for it. Decision to be patient. The one time it actually pays out. The one time it actually pays out is getting a reset. And I can't say anything to that. He still would have killed me if he had gone for the actual combo instead of that. But he killed me anyway, so it's whatever. Alright, time to start the Hibiki matchup. I am a little less aware of this matchup, so we're probably going to be pausing a lot more. Okay. He's doing 5C. I approve. Except that this isn't Tager anymore. That was too little adjustment, too late. Me not respecting wake-ups. Him not respecting my wake-up. I know what he was going for. He was trying to cross over the wake-up so I would get Soaring Strike. But it's still one of those that doesn't work in that situation. A lot of people don't know it, but 3D actually does technically have some invul frames. It's not projectile invul like a lot of people say it is. It's pretty much invul. I didn't combo off of that because I didn't expect the fatal. Backdash, but you can't backdash Hibiki very well. Not being able to see where he is. You cannot really cross that over very well in the corner. Speaking of being crossed over, though. First, and I get hit with another DP. There we go, the first crossover that works. However, this catches backdashes. Again, you really cannot backdash EDP super well. It does work, but there's always the easy chance. When you back off like that, I expect projectiles. That's just how Hibiki, or how my brain is set to with Hibiki. I expect projectiles. Probably because I am a Taker player, but I just expect projectiles. So when he backed off and I heard the backdash, I just knew to just throw out my drive properly. Me expecting an aerial in, because he's been doing those a lot. It beat that out, and I don't know why. So jumping out there is the proper response. However, at least to 6A pressure end. However, Hibiki does have a few ways of dealing with it if you don't high jump. And even if you high jump, I can still Izuna drop you. So 6B is the best way of dealing with regular jump outs. Especially when you have, well, in corner. I should preface this. In corner, you can't really jump out there. Because Hibiki can 6B you, which stops any lows, as well as catches a lot of jumps. If you don't super jump, you're getting hit by that. If you super jump, Izuna drop exists, so you could still get hit. If you super jump forward, however, you should be okay. But that wasn't a super jump, so we get full combo here. And disrespecting Oki. Oh, no. I was wrong. Okay. I could have killed, actually. That was a lethal combo. I just had to do super in the right way. There's the disrespecting Oki. And again, I get crossed over. But at this health bar, it almost doesn't matter. I have such a lead that one proper hit is all I need. I try to push buttons at the other way, and I'm pretty sure I think I did. He has the burst there. I should have baited it, honestly. But it's still one of these situations where one touch wins. And there it is. So, all in all, the Hibiki matchup for S is a bit different. She doesn't get to control me as much. Like, yes, she does still get to control Hibiki a good bit, but he has tools to get her off in DP, and he has tools to get in, well, a lot of things. So, in this matchup, he actively has to change his approach very dramatically. Okay.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
So this is why I 2C'd at round start on the last one. I wanted a jump in like this. This time I was being a lot more patient. Oh wait, did I have a phone call at the start of this one? I think I was still on the phone at the start of this. So that's what was happening there. And I'm still, here we go. I'm finally off the phone. So that is a point I'd like to make. A lot of people think backward or neutral jumping away from that is going to actually get them out, but they still get hit or forced to block. If you forward jump it, however, you get away. Me getting kicked out of the air. I actually got the button there. He's actually making some good either reactions or just call outs. And then S-Blender. Even though it was very poorly done. I actually should have been fine with that.
Rebel 2. Action.
My brain just went out. I'm trying to instant block there, I think. Again, don't throw Bruenor in pressure. At least, not like that. Okay. The one DT punish I actually get. And I actually went for this on purpose. Just to show, don't DP Hibiki. And if you do, you better be damn sure, because otherwise there goes a lot of your health. Bait the DP with that, but I screw it up because jump. Overheads I can't see and that make no noise. I hate them. Anti-airing Hibiki is a bit of a thing. However, it's doable. You just have to remember, if he's in the air, he doesn't necessarily have to come down. However, if he's doing this, just anti-air it. You will hit. You will hit. There's no question. In fact, funny enough, Tager can actually Atomic Collider through that, and neither of us get hit, and then he gets a free fatal. But fun matchup knowledge. I poke with that. Speaking of poking. Like I said, speaking of poking. So the soaring kick there was actually a tech trap, but he didn't fall for it. At least if I remember correctly what I was doing. Good anti-air, bad decision on how to follow up on it, but it gets side swapped, so I think that was on purpose. Baiting my DP, I can't tell very well. And then there, another overhead I can't see or hear. Last of the Hibiki matches.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
So I can actually do things to this start. However, I don't have to. I miss an instant block. I actually get hit there for some reason. Good block. Instant burst because I got blocked. And honestly, I don't want to take the corner there. So I'd rather burst. Neutral is hard when you can't see, but, you know, he's starting to bait me a lot. And I'm letting it happen just because I honestly should have DP'd here because I should know better than this. This doesn't work. And at least if I had DP'd, I could have rapid canceled on block.
Action.
Again? Aura? Jumping too much to come at me. I'm terrible at grabbing that out of the air, but I shouldn't be in that situation to begin with. S doesn't have to jump to police the air, and she doesn't have to really jump to get in. You're using your projectiles very often, but you're not using them properly. If you were using them properly, throwing the occasional projectile one instead of both as often as you are, you can get in on a lot of these without actually having to do anything else. I should have punished that, but I was too close. Another DP because let's get off me. I don't understand that trade. I didn't think she had hitboxes that far. Or hurt boxes that far. A lot of neutral scrambles. Safe rapid. I even tried to punish that one and screwed it up. I knew the rapid cancel was coming. So I'm also starting to bait a lot more as well, which is why you're going to be seeing a lot of 5Ds. Just 5 drive. I don't want to deal with her DP as much. Because her DP in particular, if it hits my drive, I recover first. And another instance of me coming down and not having to do that.
Rebel 3, action!
Oh, that's what he's doing. This is a thing that can happen a lot, actually. Where Soaring Strike does cross up, but it doesn't. And I will never get over how silly that is. Aura's giving me a lot of ground in a lot of these situations. And it's kind of biting him in the ass. Like, I am taking the ground without having to take it. Here in mid-screen, I'm comfortable enough in that I don't have to deal with S's lightning without her having to burn meter. And here's a fatal combo. I actually can burst bait here, but I don't. I never do this bait. Ever, ever, ever. The bait here is actually just 6B rapid cancel, and then 5C afterward. I don't do this, and there's a reason for it. A lot of people will burst here. Well, not here in particular, but a lot of people will burst things like this. But I just don't bait. I really don't bait much. I need to do it more. And honestly, in this particular instance, if I had baited, that would have been the round. That would have been the match. However, too often, too committed, and not paying attention to my resources. Hibiki can punish anyone anywhere on screen. And a lot of the times when people burst, they will throw out a button. It is just a thing. I do it too. I do it a lot. I will burst and throw out Spark Bolt. But a lot of the time, this is not what you should do. S is committing to projectile too often. And that's not how she gets in with it. You even hear the second one start up. At least just before the super hits. Alright, U13. I will admit, terrible against this character. Regardless of who I'm playing. I am very not good against Nu. It doesn't help that I cannot see that color palette super well. It's at least visible. I tried to do a drive-through there. Because this can happen. I agree with the early burst, and now he's going to bait me at every turn because he doesn't want to get hit by that anymore. Speaking of baits, good burst bait. So, I'm actually very terrible at approaching Nu, especially with Hibiki and Tager. I want to rely too much on Hibiki's 3 drive, even though I shouldn't be. And then with Tager, it's just so hard to deal with Gravity Seed. And this is why I say I rely on it too much. I actually could have just kept running. Nu doesn't as far as I know, doesn't really want to commit to a drive right yet. Because at that range, her drive wouldn't really help outside of her 6 drive. With counter assault, you're gonna see it all throughout this round. I have so much trouble with her. Catching her is one thing. Once I catch her, I'm in. But catching her is the big problem. And then just Hibiki blenders take that round well enough. I was even committing to a second one if I needed it.
2. Action.
The jump out, that's actually where you get out there. You don't have to block that. Another anti-air, just deal with my 3 drive and tell me not to do it. Which is honestly one of the best things you can do with your drive. You take it away from Hibiki and that is a big tool loss. Combo drops are... And that route's actually just hard to tell. It's doable. Caught the speed. Actually expected him to forward roll out. Good decision on not doing that. I'm jumping a good bit every now and again, just so I don't have to deal with sword mix-up. It makes it a lot more predictable and easy to deal with. Forward run, double jump, catch distance. I can't do anything. Well, I can do things there, actually. So I actually could, thinking on it, I could have, and I knew this in the moment, too, now that I think about it. I could have special canceled out of that and baited that counter assault for a freaking firm. But I just didn't do it. It's one of those things, Hibiki is technically +2 on that move. So I can poke in a lot of situations. But I just don't expect, as a result, you can be counter assault. And that's right.
Rebel 3. Action.
He hasn't been very aggressive on round start, so I felt comfortable enough to move in. And I understand not being aggressive with Mew. And now I'm stuck here playing new games. Gravity Seed out. I honestly agree with the run forward under my jump. A lot of people do that. Which it makes sense. Good mix-up. Makes it even harder to deal with when you can't see it. And that's death. Full new on display here. Oh, wait. That wasn't death. I misjudged on that. But that's the end of the set. Overall, the one thing I will say is Aura is playing his S a little too much like a projectile or a zoner. Like a projectile. I'm stupid. He's relying too much on double projectile a lot. Its stun is good, it eats a lot of projectiles, and it pushes back pretty hard. The problem is she is committing very, very frequently to that. And you can't really commit to that too much. It is a tool you have, not a tool you need. If I can put it in any particular way. The other issue is, especially with the S, the new, we only had one match, I can't really comment too much on it. But with the S, you cannot be jumping up to meet people that much. Especially not Tager, and you have no reason to do it with Hibiki. Like, if you're jumping up to meet Tager, you're doing it wrong already. If not, you get counter hit, you've already lost. Because you've lost out on a lot of damage and a lot of carry. You've lost out on genuine incentive to make him not jump at you. And that's what you want. You want him to not jump at you. You want to force his movement to the ground. Because his air movement is his best movement. It will move the furthest, the fastest. It's not necessarily the safest, and I know that. But it is still the furthest and fastest he has. That will close so many gaps so quickly. And if you're committed to a button, like projectile and double projectile, you're not punishing him. At least, not properly. That's why you'd rather throw out single projectile and why you'd rather not jump up to meet him. You'd rather anti-air him. Because then you get a decent amount of screen, and you can opt for super combos, or you can just go into normal anti-air combos and tell him no. Telling Tager no is your best tool. Your tool isn't to keep Tager away from you. It is to tell him no. Which is another reason why you shouldn't be throwing double projectile. Any S player out there who is fighting Tager by throwing out Bruenor A and B, you're doing it wrong. Throw out Bruenor B at distance unless he has Spark Bolt. And then you close the gap in 3C. Because odds are, Tager is either going to jump over it, in which case you've already seen the jump over because you're not committing to anything but a dash. And you're not going to get hit by anything. Or he's going to Sledge or Voltic Charge through it. In which case, the 3C at pretty much any range is going to hit him and give you a free 5D or... Yeah, no, free 5D combo. I was almost going to say 2D, then I realized she can't cancel 3C into 2D. And that's where your damage is. You do that, and you're fighting Tager properly. You really don't need too much else. So that's all. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.